Hello, my name is Ben. I'm here with Jem. Jem, you played 8 standby RWBY to the World Tournament, and you went undefeated in Swiss.
I did. Hello. Yes, I did.
All
Slightly
right.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Now, it's
But
kind of funny that I think we met like 2 years ago, and then you got to meet Ryoshin this time. So, over 3 years, you've now met both halves of this podcast.
yes. Yes. Oh,
uh,
we met
and
back in Japan, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of these days we might meet in not Japan, but for now it does seem to be the most sensible place to meet up.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll get into the swing of things. You decided to bring 8 standby RWBY to the tournament. There are literally 4 level 1s that cannot be reversed by cost zeros. This feels like a hard call out. Talk to me about bringing this list.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, Ruby is not the complete obvious meta pick for the format at the moment. That was Bang Dream, that was Oshinoko, that was Overlord. And first things first, I'm a massive fan of Ruby as a franchise, so I really wanted to try and make this deck work. I've played Ruby for since the original set came out, so I really wanted to try and make this deck work. Started with choice variants, so that's the level 1 Jean combo. Then looking at the meta, I could see that not many people were playing sort of hard standby decks. There wasn't much going on in terms of big sticky boards that generally are a pain to get rid of. So I thought I would try the standby list. And the standby list isn't a new list or a list I've come up with by any stretch of the imagination. There's quite a few people that have run it. So took some other lists. And of course, that 1-1 is there because, most of the major decks cannot really do anything about it. And it's just there to really sort of get your game running because this deck, as you may go on to say, doesn't really have any kind of big plussing combos. So your plussing is either the 2-2 combo or the 1-1 that just doesn't die.
Yeah, I guess yeah. Looking at the list, there isn't really that many plussing combos, as you said. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
literally just the 2-2 that it's kind of a plus in that you don't have to play a card to board. You can play a card from bin that can then attack that turn.
I mean, you played a
So
card. It was the standby. you
yeah,
you kind
exactly.
of
Yeah,
went one for one in that way, right?
yeah. True, true. But yeah, it's not very sort of conventional in that regard, but it is very much like the old standby decks where you're just hoping that your board doesn't sort of sticks around for a bit and that
Thoughts
you
and
can
prayers is a
yeah,
strong
yeah,
strategy. Well, I will
yeah.
say so. There is none of the Ruby 1-1 that is what many people might consider to be a classical standby target of 1-1 7-5 hand encore, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's literally all can't be reversed by cost zero.
Yes.
And throughout the tournament, did that pan out as yeah that plussed?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in most of my games, there wasn't really anyone that I mean, I played Bang Dream, Spy, Oshi, more Bang Dream, and more Oshi. So there wasn't really anybody with a 1-1. So until they got to level 2 and they could potentially play an early play, that would stick around. And ideally, you'd want it to try and get it out at level 0. That doesn't happen all too often because you have more important things to do, which is to get the Pyrrha online. But if it did happen, that was kind of like a hey, cool, I found some money on the floor, sort of kind of bonus. And really, it was a right pain for people to get rid of. I didn't pick the 1-1. Some people do run it in their decks, but a lot of the decks do have some pretty big power pump. So, you've obviously got the Rico in Oshinoko, and then you've got the changes in Bang Dream, albeit on a choice list, which just made the decks really quite big on offense, which just made it not that good a pick, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. 7-5 is not the correct power line. That's
No, I
correct.
mean, to be fair, the Crow on defense, I think, is only 8,000 power anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But into Oshinoko, that can actually be fairly awkward because unless they, which most players do, unless they commit the 1-0 Rico to the board, which itself requires a front row and then means they have to attack with it. They can't actually overcome it with their level 1 combo. So you can put that in the middle on the combo just to make them have to make that decision, because usually they want to keep their center slot around to have their brainstorm bounce it back.
Right, for sure. So you were talking about your record a little bit. What was that? What was that run through Swiss? That was There was Oshinoko, Bang Dream. Who else was in the mix?
Yeah, so just taking it in order, because thankfully I had the intelligence to write them down after the event so I can remember. Round 1 was a Bar Pants Bang Dream list. Then I played an 8 Pants Spy list, so another unusual list. Not something that you expect to see much of. An Oshinoko Door Pants, 8 Bar Bang Dream. Then another Bar Pants Bang Dream, which was the stream game, which was an interesting game.
Right.
Yeah. And then it was 8 Standby Fujimi Fantasia Bunko, which I'm still going to say I don't know too much about, because that was an incredibly original deck list.
Yeah. I am curious. Did you, because I got to talk to Steve first, and so now I'm talking to you after. He made a dedicated effort to hide the level 0 stock swap the entire game, because at that point you were both going to top cut and he didn't want to show it to you. Did you ever suss out during the tournament that might have been a possibility, or did he succeed in hiding it?
Oh no, he completely succeeded in hiding it. I mean, we never saw each other again. Unfortunately,
that's
Top
also
Cup,
fair. Yeah.
It was one of those where I was just so sort of amazed and sort of curious about what his list was going to do, because he had sort of this really unique idea. I think one of the main linchpins of his idea and what that deck didn't quite work into RWBY, because I think there was like a 3-1 kind of backup that kind of reduced soul.
Yes.
Which of course RWBY is very ignorant of any kind of backups or counterplay that you might have, which is another reason I thought it'd be a good thing to take. But that game was a very bit of a blur, to be honest, because we'd both already qualified, so it was just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes, see what. But he did tell me after the game that he was trying to hide some things, so.
Oh, he even told you right afterwards?
Yeah, he told me
Hilarious.
afterwards, and then I think after we'd both kind of lost our top 8 games, I went up to him and said, "Oh, what were they?" Because I was just absolutely, desperate to find out what this hidden tech would have been.
Yeah. So you did unfortunately drop out at top 8.
Yeah.
Who was that match? You didn't lose to Saikano. So
no, it was another Oshi list, and it's a really good player actually that I already know. So it wasn't a bad game. It was just one of those where I think the deck had had enough for the day. It had been performing far better than I'd expected, and then when it came to top cut, I just couldn't quite hit the brainstorm at the right time to get myself any kind of gas for a finish turn. So it just all kind of petered out. But yeah, it is what it is, and I think they ended up finishing 3rd, so I can't be too upset with that.
Yeah, Rio?
Yes.
Nice, yeah. So would you classify this deck as a relatively brainstorm reliant deck?
I think it is for cycling and obviously plussing.
Right.
I mean, it runs 2 of the level 0 Weiss card, and the main reason it runs that is because sometimes you just have to get through your deck and you don't really have any deck speed unless you hit a lot on the brainstorm. So it's not a great card because it only hits 1 or highers, but you don't really have any kind of better options to kind of mill through the deck if you are a little bit decompressed and you just need to get to that refresh. You do obviously have the Pyrrha, but you need to get a reverse for that, which isn't always feasible. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But I only actually run the brainstorm at 2 because I found that was actually enough to you just want 1 copy on the back all game. You find it, you put it on the back.
Yeah, fair enough.
And your job.
So I am curious. There's thoughts on Pyrrha, the 3-2.
The
Was that
th-
ever a consideration?
it was, and I believe, although I can't quite remember what the list was, I believe I actually played that in a previous iteration of this when I played in one of the qualifiers in France. Um, and I found it was good, but I found that this deck in particular really values consistency. So, you know, to have that one-off punish, which don't get me wrong, if you have an opponent that falls into that particular trap, then it is, a way to basically add 5 damage on top of their deck. So it feels incredible when you manage to pull it off. But in practice, the loss of consistency just wasn't worth it. And if you were playing into any players that knew what that card did or picked it up and read it, they would know just to refresh, and then you've kind of lost its effect. I guess there is an element of fear there, but I didn't find that it really warranted the inclusion over a second Salem, I think is what it became.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, going into Worlds, there's an idea that maybe at this point we can't pull the trick that much harder. That much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that being said, I still did run the anti-change counter, essentially for the Overlord matchup.
Right.
I didn't end up playing any Overlord, and I think I used it when qualifying against a Chainsaw Man deck. But
Hmm.
the idea of even seeing that just means an Overlord player can't comfortably front
Right.
when they've
Yeah.
got their irons out. So
Because for a standby
even
deck, you're oddly poor at holding onto the board
yeah,
for the
yeah,
most
you're
part.
really just hand on coring that 2/2 if needed. And
Right.
to be honest, the 1/1 can have a lot more value. The 2/2 is there because sometimes you want to hit for 2 soul. I mean, you have a level 0 as well that can give you soul, but it isn't great at holding board. And to be honest, you don't want to, because you need, as you might have seen in the game on stream, you need a board for somebody to clock kick.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so there comes a point where you kind of want to win the board for a bit, and then as they sort of start playing early plays, you don't necessarily want to answer it all the time, because you do just need to be able to clock kick, and that's kind of a lot of your finish.
Absolutely. Did you ever resolve the money counter?
Not at Worlds. This is I guess a fairly interesting story. I played it for the Dolores finish. Um, the Dolores finish, of course, requires sort of cancel, burn, pass it on, and if you can use it on, so let's say they tri-lane it, you use it on the middle one, you can really interrupt their finish,
Right.
because it stops those cancel burns going off. It can also be useful into Bochi as well, because I believe that's end of attack, so you
It
can use it
is.
into a
Mhm.
couple. But in practice, I think the people I played were Oshi no Ko, for which it's not great, and the pants variation of Bang Dream, which again is not great. And then the other variation of Bang Dream has the bar top end, which stops you playing any kind of backups or events, I believe, anyway. So it's not much use there. I did resolve it in my top 4 game to get to qualify. So at Manchester, where I got the invitation, but I actually just used it as a vanilla 1500 backup. So
Fair enough.
I didn't actually have full board condition, but I needed to keep something around. And they'd played, it was into Standby Hololive, and they played the 2/1 back row that I believe sort of kicks something to bottom of deck when it's
Yeah.
reversed.
Yeah.
So I couldn't 3-stock Encore, so I just played it as a vanilla backup. So outside of that, no, but I think sometimes just the threat of it, if they are playing, a finish that would be susceptible to a money counter, then they have to really think about their turns.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I guess last kind of card choice, card play question here. I'm curious. Did you resolve either of Salem's effects throughout that day?
Yes, so I did do a couple of stock swaps.
Got it.
Unfortunately, one of them was in my top 8 game where I couldn't really get a finish up
Right.
and running. Into Oshinoko, the stock swap itself usually isn't that great. But I have resolved it sort of many times, and of course, the threat of a stock swap usually stops people from generating too much stock or putting themselves into a position whereby they are sort of susceptible to one. But realistically speaking, like I think having it at 2 is a little bit better at the moment. Most people run it at 1. I think having that there is one a threat, but also it's never really a dead card because if you do have the stock, you can resolve the second effect, which is a kind of icy tail bottom 5. So you can also use it just to try and extend the damage that you've already got. So it never really feels like a dead card.
Did you resolve the icy tail at all?
I believe I did in Manchester, not on the Day of Worlds, because
Got it.
a lot of the games had gone in a way which was incredibly favourable. And
Oh,
by the
okay.
time that sounds like I had like generational sort of good luck, but in quite a few of the games, like I would be, say, a bit ahead
Right.
coming into level 3. So of course the best thing to do is try to resolve the main combo. Unless you desperately need to stock swap them. But
Right.
in quite a few scenarios, I was hitting level 3 second. So usually they've spent all their stock. So if I've got the 3 stock, of course, to resolve that on top, then that's a cherry on top of the cake. But usually it was just the kind of full extension of the RWBY combo. But I do think it's still worth running. I have resolved it a few times previously, and it's there obviously similar to sort of the money and the anti-change as a way to sort of tell people that if they do start getting their compression out of control, then of course, you know, for example, a Bang Dream deck, you can just punish them.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense to me. All right. So, kind of coming out of it, how'd you feel about this Worlds?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I can be mad about it at all. I mean, I wasn't playing a deck that was particularly popular or meta. I sort of qualified with a list that was similar to this. I think I made one tweak in between, but I just wanted to see how far I could go with it. You know, the first game was very positive because I think the Bang Dream player unfortunately had a bit of a tough time. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Obviously, you get a little bit more confident in your plays, and I was having quite a bit of good fortune in terms of where my cancels lay, which sometimes I think separates players at something like Worlds because everybody is a fantastic player. So sometimes you do just need that little bit of good fortune. I will probably keep playing RWBY. I think it's a really interesting and kind of fun deck to play until people start playing big board killers or standby decks again. But no, I felt absolutely fantastic, and obviously I managed to achieve one of my aims, which is actually finally get on the world stream. So that was something that I really wanted to do, and obviously as the rounds went on, I managed to get that. So that was something that I was absolutely over the moon about.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anybody you'd like to thank? Anybody you'd like to shout out?
Oh, I didn't know I'd get that. I guess shout out to the guys over at the Juicebox server for allowing me to test a lot. And I guess I should probably thank Lee, who you may know, but is actually my partner and came over with me, so I should probably thank him at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe.
Well, perhaps. Perhaps.
Travel partner, testing buddy, listening to me going mad about Eminence and Shadow the week before because I don't know what it does, and just going through all of my mad variations in terms of what people could play.
You know, I guess kind of a little bonus at the end here. Yeah, I mean, what did you end up coming off on? That was a weird phrasing of that. What did you end up thinking about Eminence and Shadow?
In terms of like how I felt about it to play against at Worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, there is, I think I went a little bit insane. I spent
Yeah.
quite a bit of time kind of looking into what different cards would do, what different decks would do, how I could play into them. I was watching kind of any videos or content I could get, and then obviously Eminence came out, and I think I got really fixated on. I think it's a 3/2 stock soul or draw stock soul combo that turns off kind of damage. Because that, I think, turns off damage during climax phase as well and just completely shut down the RWBY combo.
Yes, it actually does. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a green, I think it's a bar combo. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was absolutely terrified that somebody was going to play it. So that was, again, another reason why I was like, great, I've got 2 Salems. I'll just do some sort of weird stock swap, icy tail combo, or I'll just clock kick them.
Yeah.
it will be fine. Then it turned out no one played it.
Yeah.
I I think the door deck would have been an interesting choice because that finish is very similar to the Enterprise finish. Is quite it can put out quite a lot of damage, and I think it could have caught quite a few people off guard just because you can just throw. I think it's burn threes at people.
Burn twos.
Quite a lot. Is it
Yeah.
burn twos?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think even the atomic one has ended up being kind of interesting in the post release, and like it's 5 burn threes and then you swing for
Yes.
2 because you get rid of
Yes.
the climax. But yeah, I mean it's 4 stock, right? And so any overage of resources of both hand and or stock can kind of lead into extra delta burns, being I
Yes.
think it's the onslaught delta, which is on play burn 1.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
And I think
it's
that
coming out
combo's
to be
quite
a
nice.
little interesting.
Yeah, it's very uninteractive, that combo, because it's obviously, I think it's, one lane. You can't really kind of run any tap counters into it, for example, because obviously they've got no other lanes to attack with. So I think that's quite an interesting. I've seen it in play once, and it's quite a scary finish to come up against because there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean it actually there was a build of it that got second at BSF Long Beach just
Oh wow!
just 2 days ago. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So yeah, you can go interrogate that.
I
But
maybe I'll have to go get in the kitchen and do some cooking.
but thank you
That's
so much
cool.
for chatting with me, Jam. Really appreciate the time. Uh, and yeah, just thank you so much.
No, thanks ever so much for having me.